This is The Space Shot, episode 298 for March 8th, 2018. International Women's Day, Discovery, and Expedition 2. I'm John Molnix. We are just 2 episodes away from episode 300. I would love if you could share the podcast with your friends and family. I'm producing more and more original content every day, and I'd love to share it with even more people. If you share The Space Shot on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, heck, even old-fashioned email, between now and Saturday, March 10th, I have a Space Shot mission patch that I'll send you. So, share away, tag me in a post, send me a screenshot, email me, whatever you've got to do. Don't delay, share today. Valentina Tereshkova, the first female cosmonaut, was born on March 6, 1937. She flew into space one time on June 16, 1963, becoming the first woman to fly into space. Just over 2 decades later, on June 18, 1983, Sally Ride flew into space on STS-7, becoming the first American woman in space. I talked about Sally Ride's mission back in episodes 35 and 39, so check those out if you're new to the podcast. Soviet cosmonaut Svetlana Savitskaya became the first female cosmonaut to perform an EVA as part of a Soyuz mission in 1984. The public achievements of these early women astronauts are impressive, as are the accomplishments of the women that were involved in engineering and math behind the scenes. During the summer of 2016, when I went on a super long space road trip, I listened to Rise of the Rocket Girls by Nathalia Holt. It was a fascinating look at the women that helped America reach the moon and the planets beyond. I highly recommend reading that book, or since we're rapidly approaching road trip season, snag the book from Audible and listen to it during your travels. I'm linking to the Audible page for this book in the show notes. A few days ago, Mattel announced the release of the Barbie Inspiring Women Katherine Johnson doll. Katherine Johnson worked as a computer for NASA back when electronic computers were still incredibly primitive and humans were referred to computers since they computed things.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Johnson performed calculations that were critical for early human spaceflight. John Glenn requested that she double-check the computer calculations before his famous orbital flight in Friendship 7. The movie Hidden Figures dramatizes the work that Johnson and other black female mathematicians performed at NASA during the early days of the space race. I still haven't seen the movie Hidden Figures. It is tough to see movies when I'm doing so much for a daily podcast, but it is on my watch list for when I've got some downtime, hopefully here soon. I'm linking to a few pages on Katherine in the show notes, so be sure to check them out. Now, for a little bit more recent spaceflight history. The shuttle Discovery lifted off on the STS-102 mission on March 8, 2001, carrying the crew of Expedition 2 to the International Space Station. During this flight, American astronaut Susan Helms performed an EVA. She was also the first woman to stay on the International Space Station as part of an expedition crew. During this flight, a pressurized mating adapter was also moved in order to allow for the temporary mating of the multipurpose logistics module, Leonardo, to the station. The space station has seen numerous other notable firsts over the years. Back in episode 162, I talked about 2 missions that were in space at the same time, both of which were commanded by women. STS-120 was commanded by astronaut Pamela Melroy, and Expedition 16 by Peggy Whitson. Whitson has been in the news for her record-breaking flights, with 665 days in space over her career, the record for an American astronaut. I've got a lot of information in the show notes today, so be sure to check those links out. There's some really cool content there that I hope all of you enjoy. I'd be incredibly grateful if you could share the podcast with your friends and family, tag someone, and let them know about your favorite episode. I'd also really appreciate it if you could venture into the Apple Podcasts app or your podcast app of choice and leave a review for The Space Shot. A steady stream of reviews ensures that The Space Shot is more visible in the Apple Podcasts app. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes and you'll find me. Tomorrow, Yuri Gagarin. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.